Hello everyone. I'm Darian, also known as the Credicator, and we are here on Unpacking, where we unlearn what's unhealthy. I am joined with my awesome co-host,
Warren.
There we go.
Just fresh, doer of many things, master of none.
and our amazing guest, Milo,
aka some drunk dumb guy. But follow me at Black 88 Jesus. I'm sorry, no spaces, no dots. Don't follow me though, because I don't post anything, but I'll lurk you.
Also true.
Is that Jesus Jesus or JEEZUS? You know, did you spell
Typical
it?
Jesus.
Typical Jesus. All right, cool. See, I like
So
it.
Black,
Typical Jesus.
88, regular Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Regular Jesus.
See,
No.
I like it. I like when people, just keep it the way it is. Don't mess up with it. All right.
Okay. So we'll start here, since that was unconventional in itself. How Milo and I met. Tell them what your name is on Call of Duty.
What is Dennis Frodman?
Dennis Frodman. And what
Used to
kind of
be
picture?
Government Cheese. GUMENT cheese, but people couldn't pronounce it. So.
Dennis Rodman or Frodman?
Frodman.
I like that.
So
Yes.
I got a friend. PlayStation did an update where you could change your name, and everybody changed their name. So I had a friend who changed his name to Samuel Jackson. I wanted to top that or be somewhere near that. So I was like, well, what goes with Samuel Jackson? Couldn't figure anything out. And I was like, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Frodman.
Yeah.
So
I love a good, if anybody that doesn't know, I love a good name pun.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Actually, in my group chat with my friends, everybody has a nickname that's actually based around scamming. So there's Scam Cassell, there's Scamuel Dallenbear.
It's hard.
Now they call me, since I lost a lot of weight, they call me Slim Tebow. They have Skinny Hardaway is what we call my friend Nard. Skinny Hardaway. So I love a good name.
So
pun.
y'all out there doing it big.
So Dennis Frodman is new. I've never heard Dennis Frodman. That's
I like to be original.
I give you 10 points for that. There'll be like a little 10-point thing that'll pop up on the screen. Like, you win. You won today. I like
Dennis
this.
Frodman.
Dennis Frodman.
Yep. And so that and his photo is what really caught my attention, because we met on Call of Duty, right? I played Call of Duty PS4, same here. And then we was, you meet the randoms, and I saw his photo, and tell us a little bit more about what that was.
So my photo, for lack of better words, is a very large penis.
Wow.
Yeah.
And my boy's kid was like, is that a sausage? And so he had to explain to his kid what my emblem was.
His penis looks like,
it was huge.
Who plays Big Mouth? And he has his little dicks.
Uh-huh.
His little dicks.
Well,
And it has little sperm coming from it. And it's very inappropriate. And so I was like, I have to add him as a friend. Because I love
the thing with it was, we talked about it. You said something about it. And I said, well, team average game.
Oh, also true.
So you were like, well, you're very honest.
Mm-hmm.
But can I say what the side says? Or
Oh, yeah, go for it.
No, the side says get fucked. So
So it all comes full circle.
So it's a sign.
Yeah.
It's a sign for life.
Got
it. Yeah.
And then on top of that, one day we were playing. She said, "I'm hungry." It's like, "I'm hungry." It's like, "Oh, let's go eat." And then we met.
And there we are.
And that's how you make friends on PlayStation and online.
With big penis emblems.
That's how you do it, Hey, all friendships are somewhere,
Which is so crazy, because I wouldn't even play games a few years ago. You wouldn't catch me anywhere that involves me having to communicate or meet new people unless it was related to business in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So the fact that we linked up off social media.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
Especially over food. Everybody loves food.
Yeah.
And the food sucked.
By the way, so
but
we're not. I don't want to put them out there, but because it's one of my favorite places. I'm not gonna lie. But that was poor.
And she beat my ass on Connect 4 And dice.
And yeah, and I don't even shoot dice, but
But on Jenga,
I was figuring it out.
on Jenga, I was the king.
He was buzzing the
I
hell
don't
on
even
Jenga.
call that one. So, as we were saying,
Pardon
I
me.
invited in our time together at the location that we visited that had excellent customer service.
Excellent customer service. Sorry,
in the
food.
location that we visited, we had a very open conversation for two individuals who just met each other. And so I asked Milo if he would be willing to come share his life experiences because I thought they were something somebody needed to hear. Yeah. So jumping into that, you have two children. Right?
Two children, yes.
Yeah. One of them is from your wife.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is your birth child, and
One is not.
one is not. Correct.
But
they look just like him.
They look
I don't
just
know
like
if
me.
it's them
So,
spending time. Yeah. I don't
no,
know.
funny thing about it is, I've had him since he was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So at 3 years old, everybody swore up and down he was my child
Mm-hmm.
until my child was born, and then everybody was like, "That's you." But
Right.
he still looks like me.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so you've been taking care of him for this long.
3 to 10.
From 3 to 10 years old, and I know that it can be a lot of things that I hear on social media. A lot of people ask the question like, do you love one child more than the other since one is yours? Oh,
I actually had that conversation.
can we edit that? That's not how I meant to say that, but y'all know what I
you
mean.
meant. I know what you
Okay,
meant.
go
We
ahead.
gotta edit nothing.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
it gutter.
Yeah,
So I know what you meant. I thought that at first, and that was one of my biggest fears, is not knowing which one you would love more. But children are children. They all do dumb stuff. You hate them equally. I'm just being honest. You love your kids to death. You'll never let nothing happen to them. You'll do whatever you want. Anything you need to do for them. But kids are. I thought my parents were very cruel to me until I had children, and I understand. It's like, oh, that's why you did that. So you don't love one more or the other. You have favorites at times. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes it's
fair.
like, you did this, and I'm like, the other one wouldn't have done that.
Oh,
But
okay.
the age difference is, this one's 10,
What's up?
one's be 6 in December.
Happy
So-
early birthday.
Thank you kindly, he says. But it's more of their children, and then you realize, hey man, I did the same thing as a child, and it's hard to quote unquote be mad about it, but
You want to
you get of course you want to teach them always. That's the best thing to me about having boys is I think if I had a girl, I'd melt. Like I wouldn't be able to discipline her the same way I would do my boys, but I'm raising them to be men. So I don't see what I do to them as I don't want to say cruel. Like I'm not beating on them or I'm not doing anything, but I am hard on them. But I want them to be extraordinary men. I want you to grow up. You're not going to cry about life. Life happens. So
are you saying that they're not allowed to cry, or do you give them that chance to be vulnerable?
As far as the black race, I think we're frowned upon for crying, but you cry. I've cried probably the most in the last year that I have my whole life. Because of people talking to me about my past experiences and me realizing my mother was very different with me. I'll put it like that. And I never understood that for the sole fact that when I was growing up, I thought it was abusive, and it's borderline abusive, verbal, mental, physically. It's borderline abusive. But now having children, I swore to myself that before I had kids that I never do the things my parents did to me or my mother did to me because I knew what it felt like. But I find myself doing that the most because that's what So I'm very impatient with my children solely for the fact because that's what was bred into me.
Right.
It was like you didn't have time to answer questions or react. It was just kind of like you did something wrong. So This is what happened. So I try my best not to be that way, and I got to stop myself a lot of times to where I get upset because they do children stuff. They're children. They do kid stuff. So
Right, yeah.
I got to stop myself from saying, hey, man, why'd you do it like that? And say, hey, this is how you do this, and this is why that's wrong. So
that's good that you catch and see where you could probably be doing things differently, and are willing to do the work to change that. Because some people, they're very, like you said, they've been raised to do it a certain way. This is what they know, but you're taking maybe working towards
minor steps towards
working
not being that way.
Okay, so that I mean, you meet people where they are, and you're getting there. You're doing the work, so that's a beautiful thing. Would you be willing to expound a little more on some of those different things that you experienced as a child that
Well, the thing with me as a child is my dad worked all the time. So when I asked him to take me somewhere, he was always tired. Never understood that until I started working 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, 120 hours a week. And then you come home, like I worked on the road. My dad worked 2 jobs to ensure that we had everything we needed. So as a child, you don't get that because you don't know what bills are. You don't know what money means. So it's like, well, why is he always tired? Why does he want to play with me? But I feel like the makeup of that, and don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of men aren't with strong women. So when they're not with strong women, they have to make up that excess slack, and that takes out of the household. You know? And I don't know if I worded that wrong, but
no, I get what you. I get what you're getting at. So,
the bird. Oh,
well, so because what he's saying is that basically when a man is like, just like a woman needs a strong man, a man needs a strong woman too. Somebody that can. You're a helpmate for a reason. We're helpmates to each other for a reason. Even though I'm not super spiritual, but I do believe in helpmates. There's a very big difference between somebody being in your life that can be of help to you versus somebody that's just there to leech or siphon from you because they don't have anything to offer. So
also, I don't mean to cut you off, I apologize, but it's also, I feel like a lot of times is how you're raised. So my father spoke to me, and with my wife, if I have a problem and I say, she did this, and this, like, what are you thinking? And he said, well, she ain't wrong. Why is my father not taking my side? But what he tells me is her mom and her dad raised her that way. So she's not wrong because that's what she feels is right. And I raised you a certain way, and that's the only reason why you feel like she's wrong. Fair enough. So you got to compromise in that situation and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to tell you why I feel like this is wrong from my perspective, but it still doesn't make it wrong. That's just my perspective of how I see what you did as wrong. So
that's a very hard thing for people to operate in that space. I don't see things black and white.
Right.
So it's very hard for somebody to talk to me because I don't see things finitely. Right. And it's the same sense your dad is saying. Yeah, like I always tell people, you're right and you're wrong. And people are like, the hell does that even mean? I'm like, yeah, you're right because you feel this way about it completely. Right. And the way you've arrived to that conclusion is correct. The same way that this person that you're arguing with has too. So the thing is that now, let's find a solution. What's the happy medium for both of y'all? Or is it a avoidance? Let's not deal with that altogether. So that's the tough part. We have a hard time accepting as humans that everything isn't going to be agreed or disagreed upon. Some stuff is just, all right, it's dead. Leave it alone. Because there's no impasse.
And I'm frowned upon because I don't want to argue about it. And the reason why I don't want to argue about it is because we're not going to sit up till 4 a.m. because you feel the same way you're going to feel, and I'm going to feel the same way I'm going to feel. We solved nothing. What did we solve? I can't make you feel any type of way differently than what you felt. If you said, hey, this is right, and I tell you, no, that's wrong, anything I explain to you is not going to make that right or wrong.
I think that one important thing, something I learned in therapy, is we don't need to label whether it's right or wrong. That's important.
Okay.
One, it's when you point the finger or anything like that, it puts up a wall. Now people are in the defense mechanism versus trying to understand it and accept your perspective and then find the happy medium. So when you're like you said earlier, when you're explaining your perspective, you say, from my perspective, this made me feel this way, instead of saying you made and you did and yeah.
But it's also, from my experience, a common problem of you made me feel like this. How did I make you feel like anything? If I told you what I felt like was my version of the truth, or what, like you say, was right, what you shouldn't say, right or wrong, you perceived me saying that I'm not anything, and no, I didn't say none of that. But what I told you was, hey, we're not gonna do that.
And that's the hardest thing for me. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so, because of course everybody is gonna put their spin on what you said from your perspective. I mean, from their perspective, period. Because that's all we know. You know, the hardest thing for me when people say, "What's that?" It was on the tip of my tongue. They say, that's
explain what it is. Explain what it is.
We'll get back to it.
Explain what it is.
So
kind of like a not to be
like perspective or
kind of thing, or?
No, so it's it's on you to deliver the message how you want it to be received.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, unfair. I've always wanted to fight this my entire life, and I did, and I lost, and so now I'm taking a different route. But it's so unfair for it to be on me to deliver the message how I want it to be received, because no matter what I say or how I say it, that other person is going to put their own spin on their life, which is, and it makes it difficult for me, because I know, especially when I'm talking business with like counterparts or something like that, sometimes I can just be very straight and say these exact words, no tone, like, you know, I don't want you to feel anything from what I'm saying. But even not having a tone in your voice makes a person feel something, and it's exhausting.
Well, the thing is,
it's the most exhausting thing about dealing with human beings in general for me.
The kind of the caveat to that is that basically, if you're speaking with somebody, right? I'll deal with this. We just had this exchange earlier. I'm gonna say something, you're gonna take it a certain way. You're gonna say something, I'm gonna take it a certain way. Now, it's up to us to also have understanding of each other and say, okay, cool, we know we're on the same team, even though we do disagree about this particular thing. What happens is, what your wife is hearing, or like, if I'm talking to my girl, what she hears is that you're still trying to convince her that she's wrong. Instead of explaining your perspective, all she hears at this point, you're still trying to tell her, well, let me tell you why I know I'm right. So you may think that you're delivering in a way where it's very like diplomatic, but at the same time, I know that whenever I go back and I look at it, I'm still like I'm still trying to prove you're wrong, even though I know that I'm more solution based. In that moment, our ego takes over sometimes, and we want to be like, "Hey, you're wrong. Let me explain."
I want to be heard. I want to feel like my point was heard. We don't have to agree on whatever, but I want to know that, hey, you understand where I'm coming from. Okay. And sometimes that's not even possible either. And that's where I also get a glitch.
Correct. Everybody wants their point understood, but everybody's trying to out-talk everyone. So it's still all about your delivery, just like you said. It's your perception of how you take it in. I seen a meme where it was like a dude and a woman on a donkey. The woman was on the donkey. Somebody else like, that dude's stupid. He's letting the woman ride the donkey. And then the man got on the donkey. He's like, oh, he's not a real man. He's letting the woman. They both on the donkey. You know, so
that is too funny.
It's the perception.
They talk about that 48 laws of power. Anyway,
a school guy that I associate with told me, he said it's your delivery. So I had an older guy tell me, don't put gas on the fire. So what do you mean? So you don't sit there and argue because you're putting gas on the fire. Nobody understands anything. You keep fueling the fire, it's going to keep burning. Another guy told me, he said, you know, hey, your delivery. What do you mean? I said, man, listen to you. Listen how you talk. You, what the F this and what the F this? And he said, so if you tell somebody, hey, why are you going over there? But then you tell somebody, why the F you going over there? It's a whole different meaning. So well, I never even thought about that. To me, I'm not doing anything. That's how I talk. People, oh, you're so aggressive. Like, no, I'm not aggressive. I speak with emotion in my eyes.
Right.
You know?
That's
but
me.
to other people, they're like, okay, well, you're very aggressive right now, so I'm in defense mode, just like you said. But no, there's no need. So I started out my conversation, hey, I don't need you to be offended. I don't want you to be mad. I'm not going to cuss. I'm not going to scream and yell. I ask the same of you. So we have that mutual respect, and then everybody has their understanding, so you can get your point across because you're not screaming and yelling at me. I'm not in defense mode. You're not cussing at me. I'm trying to figure out why she's so aggressive. So I do the same thing, and I shut up when you talk. Therefore, that entitles me to, when you're done talking, hey, it's my turn. Don't hit me with no other extra stuff about, oh, let me add. No, hold on. I'll let you talk, so now it's my turn. And I try to live by that, but I don't follow it so long. But my father told me, he said, hey, 5 minutes. I said, 5 minutes what? He said, you got a bad temper. He said, wait 5 minutes. I said, okay. So she go off for 5 minutes and I blow up. Boom. I flip out. I call him. I said, man, I waited 5 minutes and nothing happened. He said, okay, now wait 10. Okay. Have another argument. Wait 10 minutes. Flip out. Boom. Go crazy. Call him back. Said, man, I waited 10. Wait 15. Now, what kind of method is this? But what happens is you build up the tolerance. Now you build up patience. This is how you build the patience, because I waited 5 minutes. No matter, flipped out at 0 minutes. First thing you said, I'm going crazy. All right. Now I can wait 5 minutes. All right. Say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. All right. I'm done. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That conversation continued up to an hour. So now I can sit there and listen somewhat for an hour before I, all right, this is enough. But it took, he told me, he said, man, I ain't always been patient. But I see my dad now at 60 years old, and I'm like, man, you was tripping.
Right, yeah.
But he gave me the method. He said, man, you got to chill sometimes. Listen. Don't do all that screaming. Don't do all the cussing. Chill. Okay. Fair enough. But when you hear people, like they say, what's that, people will listen to answer a question versus hearing.
Yeah, people listen to respond versus to like actually
what
like
the message
hear.
is. So you do that and you find yourself and you say, once you read that, you can't unread it. You can't unread it because you sit there, somebody's talking to you, and it's like, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to. I can't wait to answer that point. I can't answer that point. Okay,
now
yeah, I got something for it. But I missed everything else.
Yeah.
So instead of having a genuine conversation, and hey man, why you feel like that? Because if I can understand why you did what you did because of something I did, you say, hey, you did this, it gave me a flashback because you don't know people.
Right.
People think because you have years of experience with people or dealing with people for years that you know them. But
most of us don't know each other. Most of us have no idea what puts somebody somewhere.
But the thing is, too, is that because we don't know ourselves. So, the gist of that is
you see my eyes wide?
we don't know ourselves. So, I was married. Me and my wife were together for 13 years, and now we're getting divorced. And like going through the process of meeting other people, you start to really get to see a reflection of yourself after being, I don't know if this is for everybody, but being in a relationship that long and thinking you know what you know about yourself, and then getting to know other people, you start to realize, yo, I'm a little crazy. There's something wrong with me. But like I used to tell myself, oh, I was territorial or what you call it, but then realize, no, you're just insecure. But territorial is a really good way to say, I just, I don't want you talking to anybody. I don't want you to be hanging around guys. I don't want you to be going to clubs. No, you're just insecure because if she can't be in front of your face, then you can't trust her. So let's be real about what you are so you can work on that versus giving it this like blanketed label that goes with it. So throughout the summer, I've been learning things about myself that I had come to like, put it in this box and be like, it's this thing, and I'm assigning it to something. I was WebMDing my own mental issues up here versus like, hey, no,
you got cancer.
Yeah, you got cancer. I was like, yeah, you got
I coughed once, I've had cancer.
Exactly. So that's the biggest thing is because we're two people talking to each other that don't really know each other deep down.
Right.
So then a lot of times too, what I find myself going back and forth with somebody about it be shit that I hate about myself too. So I'm mad at you for doing something that I would do because I'm just like, well, you know, if you mad at me about that, well, you do it too. And I'm really bad about that. Like, if you do something, I'm a
merry-go-round effect never solves anything.
Yep, exactly.
Warren, I don't like the way you do this, and this. Well, I do that because you did this, and this.
Yeah.
Well, I did that because you did it. You solved
Well,
nothing.
y'all know why y'all did it, so now what you
because that's me. My thing is that I just want to say my thing. That's the bad part about me being passive. Is that a lot of times with men are very passive with women. We don't want to argue with women.
Which is annoying.
We won't say anything. And then when we blow up, that's when stuff like that comes out. Like, well, you be doing such and such. And she's sitting there like, wait a minute, I'm dressing something with you right now. Now it's your time to dress it. But I'm like, nah, where your energy's at? Where your energy's at? You can see that I'm doing this, but where's your energy? So, but that just comes from not like really knowing ourselves. And then at the same time, too, not addressing things head on because we think we're protecting somebody for something. It's like, if I don't say anything to her about this, then I, we won't have to argue about it. But then what happens is when I get upset, I'm gonna say it anyways, and we're gonna end up arguing about it anyway.
You're gonna have a worse outcome.
Because she's like, oh, well, now you're just gonna attack me because you feel attacked, and it's like it's much easier. Nobody learns anything,
and that's what it is. Because from my opinion, women hold in a lot of stuff because they want to keep a man, and like you said, men are passive because we don't want to argue. So solely because we don't want to argue, we won't say something. Hey man, that pissed me off, but you know what? I'm going to this room. I'm gonna drink my beers and do whatever I do.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But that mentality, it also causes, not that that's the only mentality, not to point finger at men or anything like that, but that mentality causes additional stress in the relationship.
Most definitely. But that, I believe, from my personal opinion, men raise women or their daughters as your queen and someone like on a Disney fairy tale, and that hinders them from being grown up. So women want to be independent, but they want a man. Okay, well, wait. You either want a man or you want to be independent. I don't know what to tell you. And then when you get a man, you still want to be independent. That don't work. So
why doesn't that work?
Because
look at me like,
nobody wants to hear it, but it's finances. Finances is the number one
overcheating.
Overcheating is the number one reason for divorce. So get your stuff together, because when we become one, and I'm also not religious, but I believe that from a Bible standpoint, like if you want to follow that, and you shouldn't have to have a Bible to live Bible standards, if that makes any sense. You should have morals. If you want a head, there's a head. But see, where people fail to realize is the head doesn't mean because you have a penis that you're the head of the household. Because I got homeboys that their wife is the breadwinner and they ain't got no job. They stay at home dad. So you're not the head of the household, but you think because you have a penis that you're the head of the household. No, sir. Your wife makes the money. I
don't think making the money makes you the head of the household. Who is best at running the household, the whole ship? Not just what's that? No. Oh, not just the coins, but because we all know that you can have all the money in the world and still not have.
I know plenty of women make 6 figures a year, and I talk to my dad about it all the time, and they blow $20,000-$30,000 at the casino. So agree with your statement. But what runs the ship? So I can't dictate. I can't dictate how. If you're bringing in $200,000 and I'm sitting at the house watching the kids, I can't say, hey, you don't need to be doing that.
You can, actually. But I think it all depends on balance and what your relationship is. Because she might know how to make the money. She might not know how to spend the money. And she knows that that's also important. You need to know yourself before getting into a relationship with somebody else, because if you don't know what your downfalls are or where you have areas of improvement, if you don't know those, then the other person that you get into a relationship with could need the same areas of improvement.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? But if he stays home, take care of the kids, but he also knows how to do money management, maybe he had whatever. Now
she can background.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, who knows?
Fair enough.